When is immunity actually immunity? Being immune to something means it has no effect on you. Though in real-world medical usage, especially in light of the Voldemort virus, private message me if you don't know what that means, it really means resistant, as in able to fight it off, usually, but not always. However, as usual, we're interested in spiritual usage here on Morning Minutes in the Bible on Throwback Thursday. So today we're looking back 42 years to an article about how the Christian's spiritual immune system can be overwhelmed. Love Not the World by Kevan from Plain Talk Magazine, December 1979. And Jehovah God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat. Genesis 2:17. What happened? Man chose to listen to Satan rather than God. In Exodus 23, God instructed the Israelites to drive out the other inhabitants of Canaan, lest they make thee sin against me, for if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. Verse 33. What happened? Israel did not heed God's command and was soon influenced by the nations around her. But the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, Nay, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations. 1 Samuel 8, verse 19. In Jeremiah 6:16, the prophet pleaded with Judah to rid herself of her idolatry and worldly practices and return to God's paths. What was the reply? But they said, We will not walk therein. By these and other examples in the Bible, it becomes obvious that man has the tendency to be influenced by those around him. It also becomes obvious that most of the time, most men choose the world's way rather than God's way. It would be foolish for us to think that we are not affected by this carnal nature. Paul warns us, Be not deceived, evil companionships corrupt good morals. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33. Yet, too often, when those words reach our ears, we try to rationalize our choice of companions and hear Paul as saying, sometimes corrupt good morals, or corrupt others' good morals. Paul said evil companionships corrupt good morals. Don't argue the point with me, those are God's words. Solomon wrote, My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. He also warned, Enter not into the path of the wicked, and walk not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass on. And it was Solomon who said, Walk with wise men, and thou shalt be wise. But the companion of fools shall be destroyed. Proverbs 1:10, 4:14, and 13, verse 20. Yet it was recorded of this man in 1 Kings 11:4, For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. If one of the wisest men who ever lived yielded to the influence of the world, who are we to assume that we can resist that influence? We should soberly remember God's word. Wherefore, come ye out from among them and be ye separate. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 14. One brother, trying to defend his practice of visiting bars and dance halls, explained to me that he had to spend time with the world if he was going to convert anyone. It came as no surprise to me to learn that he no longer even professes to be a Christian. We cannot teach someone the truth by engaging in their worldly activities. So, are we to avoid the world completely? Well, of course not. Christ prayed not that we should be taken out of the world, but that we not become of the world. John 17, verse 15. A Christian is in the world, but he is not of the world. The scriptures tell us that we have an obligation to the lost. Matthew 5, 13 through 16, and 28, verses 19 and 20. Any relationship with an unbeliever should be one of concern for his soul. What Kevan is saying can be summed up like this. We have to live in this world, but we should not deliberately expose ourselves to the things that would overwhelm our spiritual immune system, because Christians can get sick and die spiritually. Are we being as careful as we should be? Thank you for watching Morning Minutes in the Bible on Throwback Thursday. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.